Hello gardeners, it's a hot one today. It's in the upper 90s and I've been putting off some chores for that reason, but we finally have like the third day of hot weather, so I'm gonna have to do it. Hey men. Alright, so let's just back up for a couple days ago when I went to Lowe's to get supplies to do some projects. Join me, will you? Okay, I'm just leaving Lowe's, so this is going to be my next gardening project. Okay, cart. It wants to ride on the John Deere. Okay, so I'm going to add annuals to my plumeria planters. I'm going to try to work out something outside the man door from the lanai because we're getting so much mulch into the screen porch. And then I've got these 2 bags of orchid mix and these terracotta pots for the last of my dendrobiums. And then I got this pot, which I thought was really pretty, to go with this, although it might be a little busy for it. We'll see. I had one of these at the other house, and when I tried to take cuttings, it just didn't work, so I couldn't propagate it to bring one forward because I have brought, little pieces of stuff from the other house. But anyway, that's what we got. I'm not going to work on it today because now we're already at the really hottest part of the day, but tomorrow maybe. Well, I'm going to start with the 2 easiest projects. One is getting this bark ready to be able to replant some orchids, and I just ripped the top there like it says here to cut it. I'm just going to leave it in here, take these out to the water hose and fill them with water instead of putting them in a bowl or something. Okay, I've never done this before, but we're going to give it a try. See if the bags will work like a bowl or a container of some sort. Oops. Seems like a shame to dirty something up. So it's not really, I'm not seeing it raise the water level. Is it dripping off the bottom? I don't think so. I have seen some products have little holes in it. Okay, now it's catching it. Hey, it's moving, but hold my foot on that one. Can't work on this one. Maybe when they both have water to hold each other up. A little trouble with the bags falling over and spilling out the bark. It almost worked. It worked pretty good. So this one's down a bit, but that's okay. I should have enough for my project. Yeah, you can't reuse this bark once it hits the ground like that because you can't have any kind of dirt on orchid roots. Alright, so that's the first easy project. Let's go to the second easy project. Alright, project number 2 is planting this plant officially in this pot. Right now it's just sitting in the garden pot. Yeah, that should be pretty easy. Just need that and some soil. And if I'm smart, I would use garden gloves. I've got my supervisor here and the HR director as well, making sure everything's going the way it should. Alright, so I have stuck my remaining potting soil here. I don't have a ton of it, but I should have enough for this job. Ooh, wet in there, huh? And then I want my wrench. I'm going to take this outside. Okay, I let this sit a bit because I wasn't sure if I liked the busyness of this pot with the busyness of this plant. But, and also this that's my neighbor's air conditioner. It also has this green, and I really have just done kind of coral and blue in there mostly. And so I wasn't sure. I thought about putting this pot in the front yard because I have these colors in the pots there. but actually I do like it in there. It looks very tropical. So let's get some dirt in there. Okay, that is all the soil I have. So I'm just going to have to move it to the sides and hope it's enough. I'll have to go get more. Now I'm already dirty. Well, bummer. It really wasn't enough soil. I don't know if you can see in there. We're going to need more. Okay, it's kind of leaning over a little right now, but oh well. I'll get some dirt tomorrow or the next day and get it upright, hopefully. Okay, so the next thing, and all these marks on the ground kind of show why I'm doing the next project. You know, it was only 2 days ago that I vacuumed and 4 days ago that I vacuumed in here because this mulch comes in. Look at the size of this piece of mulch that came in. Oh, this is my trash. So, yeah, I'm using that thing to get it. But look at that. You can't. I guess you can't really tell through this camera so much. But when I look through the window, that's what I see. I got these. They're considered rubber pavers. Let's pull it back a little bit here. So that's where it's going to go. Yeah. They're much heavier than they look. And my theory is, I don't have anything to get these staples out, that I am going to put them outside here so that there's kind of a wipey before you come in and after. Okay, I got my hoe and I got my spade. Now my nose is running from bending over and stuff, but I got this cleaned out. And let's see what we can do. We have to work around that termite thing. I'm going to take these utility scissors out there, but I don't think they're going to do the trick. Okay, so I'm going to have to remove this. So I got the hoe thing. I can just pull it aside, and then I got the I was going to fall backwards there for a minute. The spade, in case I need to, you know, dig stuff up, level it a little bit. But let's give her a try. Okay, so I got my piles of mulch there, and then this exposed. The education I've received in the last 5 minutes of doing this was that I probably should have waited to run the hose because it made a little bit of a muddy mess. I think the dry mulch would have been a better idea. All right, let's see how they can lay these out there. I have no idea. It's amazing how heavy these things are. They look like bricks, and they aren't bricks, but they feel like bricks. Okay, I was afraid that I was going to have to try to trim off the sides. They were going to be too wide, but I don't think so. I want it to be flush with the opening over here, because most of your feet comes in over here, and the door isn't always open, completely ajar. So these have little wedges. They're supposed to, I think, do they lock in place or anything? No, they all have the same little thing, so no. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, got the pattern right. Okay, that's good. It looks a little off-centered because see how you have your 3 or 4 inches, but that's really where your feet are going to go, and that's what I care about. Okay, they are down. However, this one's a real trip hazard right here. I don't know if you can see that because of the shade, but yeah, that's going to be a real trip hazard. So I either need to put some of the mulch below the 2 in the front to raise them up, and a little bit here so that it's all raised. Okay, I'm going to call this as completed as it can be. Oh, I yanked on the hose to bring it in to water orchids and got bark on the new pavers. Oh well. Okay, vandas are watered. This is really obvious trip hazard, so hopefully we don't forget it. And oh, I forgot to get the mulch off the door frame. Yeah, I gotta do that. See how much nicer it looks when it's not completely covered in black specks. Yes, I know. My supervisor's been all over me today. Okay, there's a break in the weather, so I've grabbed my stool and a smaller spade. And I'm going to plant these flowers in with my plumeria. And yeah, all these terracotta pots, they're not going to stay here. And that plumeria over there as well. Yeah, a little bit of storm, thunder and lightning, so it cooled stuff down a bit, and everything's nice and wet, so that was a good time. All right, I'm going to get at it. Okay, I've placed them rather loosely around where I want them to be. I just realized that the circumference of this one is really not much different than the really big one. Well, the big plant isn't centered. I know it's really dirty, so I'm just going to use the 3. A blue one, a yellow one, and a white one. Okay, I got them planted. It's a mess. I still got to clean up. This one, I was able to use a bunch of the dirt that was in the pots. The other ones, I really broke the roots, using like half of the root ball, but they kind of separated too. All right, these are all cleaned up and watered. I had a little too much pressure when I was watering that one, trying to get the dirt off the rim of the pots. And all right, let's start with the wall that I got dirt all over, I guess. It's pretty good. I didn't do too bad. Oh, it's starting to rain. I don't care about me, obviously not the plants either, but the camera, yes.
The next day.
So let's see how things are looking this morning. It's 9 o'clock. I'm still in my robe and jammies. I just woke up. I was up till almost 2 last night, so that's how it's been lately. Okay, there they are. They made it through the night. All right, let's check the other one. That's our new car. Not exciting. Just a Subaru, kind of. It's not even. There we go. I don't want to stand in this. All right, so they look pretty good. They got rained on pretty hard. Okay, I got this yesterday, so I think it's time to fix the potting on this. I'm not going to do it in the porch. I'll just make a mess. It's my little Bella. Gotta watch because they're mowing today, I think. All right, so I got my gloves and something to lift the soil out of the bag. And I also brought the plant tone, which I wish I would have had when I first planted it, so I could have put it a little lower, but that's okay. I'll put it and then some dirt in the pot. I can't stand the smell of this stuff, so this will be a challenge. Okay, cut off the top. Ugh, I smell. Ugh. Gross. Ugh. Horrible. Ugh. Ugh. That's got to sit over there. I can't stand it over here. Whew. I can already smell the pot. I got to get this dirt in there quick. One nice thing, this kind of spade has edges, and it does really help to cut stuff open. Alright, let's make sure this plant is straight up, because it really wasn't before, I don't think. Yeah, let me water this now. So that's my little vignette there. And everybody needs water. They didn't really get watered yesterday because it was thundering and lightning and raining into the screen porch. Okay, and all that turbulent weather yesterday, my orchid bar got knocked over and spilled out. So let me see what I can save. Okay, it's not quite as wet as I'd like it to be, but at least it's there's still plenty of it. So get my other tools in and we will get to working on the orchids inside. Oh, and by the way, This just happened to jump in my cart yesterday. You gotta be careful with those jumpers. Okay, just getting set up. I have my 4 pots. This one's all wet because I bought it yesterday at Lowe's, and you know, the outside part was wet. I got soaked doing it. So I just have to clean up a little bit, and then I can use this space. I'll be able to open this and put it out. It's a big reservoir to catch bark and mess and whatever. So I'm really excited to try it. By the way, if you've never bought one of these Better Grow, what I call bag babies, they have a picture on the tag, and they're kind of generic. I mean, different types and different colors have a different tag, but this isn't specifically that species, but it's going to be something that looks similar to that. If you want to know the exact one you're getting, that's in the bag itself. There's a card, if I can get it out, that will tell you exactly which one you got. And this is a dendrobium, which I knew. I'm down at dendrobium or 2, so I thought I'd get another one. And there you go. So it may not look exactly like this, but it's going to have similarities to that. That's just how they're done, because they can't make a different picture for every species. Not really species, every hybrid. It was pretty healthy looking for a bag baby. It had some new leaves, light green leaves, so I went for it. Okay, so far I'm loving this thing. So all you do is you just have to snap these 2 pieces together to make a corner. It looks like that. It'll be in close once I get this last one done, see? And all my bark will stay in there. Okay, so I poured the fuller bag in there, and it still had quite a bit of water. You can't see it so much now. But so I had a little partial bag, so I'm going to mix this dry bark in with this. And I think I'm going to love this thing. And you know, you can just pull it down where you're working, or I could even undo each of these sides and just have it, which I think I'm going to do, and just have the walls to the back, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But if I can find this on Amazon, I will link it below. So, pro tip. Not that I'm a pro, but I do have a little experience. If you're going to work with a lot of orchid bark, like I'm going to do, you might want to wear gloves because you can get splinters. And I always do. All right, so we're going to start with what looks like one of the easier ones. I have 4 of these that have been in baskets for a while. They grew a lot more roots than leaves and stuff. And they were just in too much sun. And now they've kind of recovered well here. So I'm going to try to get them planted up, but I bet I only have enough bark for 3. But we'll give it a try. Okay, what I learned from doing the first one, just all potted up there. I think there's a humidity on my lens, is to not mix have your good bark up here and then go cleaning your orchids down here. There's just not enough room on this for that. So I would suggest you clean all your orchids first, that you're out of the old pots and stuff. This one came out easy. That one did not. That one was a struggle. But I don't want to contaminate my new mix with old mix, although some of the mix on that one, on the very top, was brand new. I just put it there not long ago because it had a lot of roots exposed. So that's part of it. Second part of it was when I took that one out of its old basket, immediately there were millions of little ants, and they were all over me. Little tiny little specks of ants going 100 miles an hour. One went up my nose. That was an experience. But anyway, yeah, hopefully I got it. I'm not sure, but I think I did. Anyway, so my suggestion is to use this to clean all your orchids first, then clean it, then go to that, and put your bark in, and then just do your planting, and it would be nice and pleasant that way too. So lesson learned and shared. Okay, number 2's in the pot. He looks like he's too far down, but he's not. I can see the roots. All right, so if you're an orchid grower, you might be saying, hey, Vicki, wait a minute, those are not orchid pots. And you're absolutely right. They're not traditional orchid pots that have the holes all over them, like, say, those. But there's a reason. I have grown dendrobiums in regular pots. That's what I'm going to call this, regular pot. I have grown them in, this is almost a tall boy type too. And I have grown them in orchid pots. I've grown them in wooden baskets. I've grown them in plastic baskets. I have grown them in pretty much every type of pot, including one that's a decorative pot that's been in there, I don't know, 10 years. I've never even changed the bark in it. It's so happy. I'm sure the bark is gone. It's just all roots in there. But anyway, honestly, to grow big ones that bloom, I've had the best luck in these. Probably my second best luck is in wooden basket. My third best luck is probably in orchid pot. And my least favorite has been the plastic basket, which these first two I've just potted. I just took out of them. If these had been grown, the amount of time they've been in those baskets, if they'd have been in something like this, they would be giants. In fact, I'll show you an example. See this guy right here? See how tall he is? He's got some little bloom spikes coming off. And how healthy he looks. And there's another bloom spike here. And then there is a bloom, and he is in a decorative pot. I'm trying to remember how he got into that, but anyway, he did. And he's been in there, like I said, probably 10 years. And I was experimenting with a different type of orchid mix that isn't really a chunky bark. It has little bits of chunky bark, but it was very soil-like. And it was just some scrap pieces, and I said, okay, let me just try that and see what happens there. And that's what I got. It's one of my most prolific bloomers and growers, and those have been the ones who've done the best for my growing conditions. So hopefully it'll be the same here as it was at the other house. So that's why I got 4 of these. Believe me, I didn't get them just because I wanted to. They're a lot more expensive than what one would normally get. But having that bag between my knees made this big mess here. So I'm going to use the shop vac on that and a few other things. I'm going to water the vandas, and then we're going to call it done. I appreciate if you stay with me through this long garden project video that spanned over several days. I didn't expect that. But here's one of our new pots. And it may, if you're an experienced orchid grower, you may say, oh, that's not a lot of orchid in that pot, it's over potted, or too deep. But there's lots of pieces in there. It's not all one plant, and they're all growing different directions. I tried to get them where they're going different directions. So I think the bigger pot is going to be fine. Okay, so then this one got repotted as well, as did this one and this one. They were in these pots, but they were in other pots too, except for one of them was just in a terracotta pot. And I used that one for the little new one. Yeah, I cleaned that one out and used that for the little new guy. And that's not a pot. It's going to be in forever because these things can get tall, as you can see by this one. And they will knock that over. Yeah, see, here's the top of that plant again. So when they get tall like that, they will knock a small pot like these over. So those will eventually get repotted as well. I do have one more of that big one. And of course, Lowe's has lots of them. So anyway, before I go, I just want to check on the avocado plant. It got knocked over yesterday. It seems to be okay. Its leaves are a little down. I gave it some water. I think it needs more places for its roots to go, so I think I'm going to need to repot that next. That'll be on the next projects list. Thanks for watching. I'm just going to close it off with one of my favorite plants. Oh, it's too dark. There we go. Happy gardening.